So this video is all about a new collection of fragrances, and they are this one here, La Collection Vanille from Sylvaine Delacourte. So I've got the discovery box, and this is how it looks inside. And the fragrance that I'm wearing today is called Vanille, and Vanille is the one that has frangipani in it, which I think so far is my favourite. It's a really soft, musky vanilla with a hint of a very sunshiny floral that makes you think of sunscreen. So I've sprayed that all around here and on my left arm, and then I've also done one spray of Vangelis, which is that one there. Vangelis is the aromatic one that has rosemary and pine, geranium, cedar, and then vanilla as well. So that is here, and this one is definitely more lively, zestier. It's more of a kind of wake you up fragrance, but does still have that sweetness from the vanilla, and it is still a bit musky, but it's definitely a bit more lively than the Vanora. But the Vanora is definitely my favourite at the moment. I'll come back to you and let you know how I get on.
So here's just an overview of this collection of fragrances. So they are all based on vanilla. That is the main note. Every single perfume has a Madagascan vanilla as the main note, and you can really tell when you smell each and every one of them. You can tell there's vanilla in there. Some more noticeable in the opening than others, but by the time the fragrance is developed, even just 10-15 minutes, the vanilla definitely really starts to become more obvious in the majority of the fragrances. So today, as you know, I wore Vanille, which is this one here, and I can't remember what I put on my other hand actually, but Vanille was my scent of the day. That was the main one that I wore today, and it still is my favourite. I've just resprayed it on my arm, so I'm just going to sniff my arm. Oh yes, so Vanille in the opening, it's the first few hours of Vanille that I really adore, and it does smell like sunshine in that kind of sunscreen manner. So there is frangipani, but there's also honey and vanilla, and there's a bit of grapefruit in there as well, which I think is not mega obvious. Just a little bit in the opening just gives it a little bit of a zing to stop it being too mellow and smooth. There's a little bit of a zing from some grapefruit in the opening. Then you get this real sort of expensive sun lotion smell. So that frangipani smell, like sun lotion but without the coconut, and a musky vanilla. That's kind of it really. But I also get a little bit of pepper, a tiny hint of pepper, which is not listed as a note. And then as time goes by, within about 3 to 4 hours, what you have on your skin is really just the most expensive, soft, musky vanilla smell. It is in the same ballpark as the high-end Galan L'Art et Matière collection. For example, the dry down of Bois d'Harmonie, which is super vanilla-y and just exquisite. It does remind me of that. Also, the dry down of Angelique Noir, again, an awful lot of really amazing vanilla in that. And that Vanille there does remind me of that one. So it's a win. I love it. So the other fragrances then, so we'll start here with Valkyrie. Valkyrie, the main note I get from this is the sandalwood. So it does remind me of the sandalwood from Samsara, but not quite so strong and noticeable as in Samsara, and it's not a spicy, heavy fragrance, but you will recognise that sandalwood. It feels to me like they could have potentially used the same ingredients as was used in Samsara, but on a soft musky vanilla base with, have I dropped, no there he is, on a soft musky vanilla base and just a hint of some citruses to lighten it up. It's really, really beautiful. Probably the more masculine of the group here, I think. So next along you have Vahina. This is the more floral of the group. So this one has a few floral notes, osmanthus as well as orange flower, and again that musky soft vanilla base. Very pretty, but probably not that exciting when you compare it to the others. So we've already done Vanori, and now we have Vangelis. So let's have a sniff of that. So Vangelis, oh that's lovely. Vangelis is quite woodsy. It's got like a musky woodsiness, which is really nice. And I've forgotten the notes, so I'm just going to turn it over where there are some information here. So you can see Vangelis. So that has clementine, black pepper from Madagascar. I'm not quite sure what Genevieve or something from West Europe. Some kind of mustard nuts and myrrh. I'm totally getting that wrong. I've forgotten what Vangelis is all about, but it's slightly more exotic. It's maybe a little bit more interesting than Vanori, for example, which I still love more, but Vangelis just has, probably is the myrrh and the pepper, just makes it a little bit more exotic and a little bit more fun. And then finally we have Vergil. This is the most aromatic of the 5. So if I was going to pick out 2 that men might be a bit more comfortable with, it would be the Valkyrie, which is the sandalwood, and then the Vergil, which is the one that has aromatics such as rosemary and thyme. So you still have the soft, powdery, musky vanilla, but you also have some, let's have a look here, Vergil. So romarin is your rosemary. Pin Aguils, I'm pretty sure is actually pine. Geranium, cedar, amongst other things. So it's an aromatic, it's almost like an aromatic cologne with the soft musky base. Soft vanillic musky base, but it's more about the soft vanilla than the aromatics, but you can smell them all there together in one piece. So what are my overall thoughts on this collection? I think that if you really enjoy the high-end Guerlain fragrances, then these are an absolute must-have for you. If you love vanilla, it's a no-brainer. If, however, you like your fragrances more challenging, if you like them to be a little bit more interesting and thought-provoking, these might not be for you. If you like things that are animalic or a bit jarring or a bit loud, for example, let's say you're a massive fan of things like Tom Ford's Black Orchid, a very loud fragrance, or Alien Mugler, that kind of thing. This is a million miles away from that. These are soft, gentle, cozy, easy to wear. It's like reaching for your favourite cashmere jumper in a soft, neutral hue. This is not a fragrance to make, none of these are fragrances to make you stand out from the crowd. These are fragrances where you just want to smell delicious and very, very likable. They are extremely likable. That's what I'd say about them. So yeah, I really like them. Do I need to own a bottle of each of these? Absolutely not. I think you can have too many vanillas unless you are a vanilla whore. I kind of was for a while, but I don't like to have too many vanilla-centric fragrances. I mean, I've got a lot, but I don't want too many. I do think that you can get a bit bored of them. So for example, Vanori today, I wore it for about 5 hours and then I felt like putting something else on top. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think what I'm trying to say is that you might just get a little bit bored of smelling too damn good. You might feel like wearing something slightly more challenging after a few hours. Look at my cat, she's trying to get to the water. She can't always figure it out, bless her. The long and the short of it are, I really, really like them. Vanori is my favourite. I could potentially see myself buying a bottle of Vanori. I think it's gorgeous. It wouldn't be one that I would reach for loads and loads because it's probably a little too simple and beautiful without anything to create interest or challenge. But when you're in the mood for that kind of simplicity, that soft, fuzzy, musky, vanillic bubble, if you're feeling a little low or under the weather, if you need a hug, these would be the fragrances you would pick. They are comfort. You've got comfort in a bottle right here. So I think I'm going to leave it there. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Here's Sweetie having a drink. We'll end on that.